Hello again, I'm Robert and I'm here with my friend Julie. Hi Julie, how are you doing?
Hi, fine, thank you, Robert.
Very good. We've been talking about the conundrum of why the current mass of humanity is on this planet at this time. We've been wondering why we are on this planet at this time. Do we have a function? And if so, how does that function work with the greater humanity? Because we are all here together sharing the same planet, the same problems, the same positives. So we thought it would be interesting today, instead of just talking, if we did what we would regard as a working session, how we work together. So we connect to our team of guides, and we'll talk more about them later, I'm sure. But we will put questions to our guides. We'll let them give us the answers. We'll do our best to interpret those answers. They're often very convoluted, so bear with us. And hopefully we'll find out some of the truth of that statement. Why are we here together? So, Julie, should we connect up and see what happens?
Right. Let's connect with them, Rob.
Okay.
Okay. So let's have a look at asking the question to our guides. This is going to be a guided session, and I'm now setting the intention, and this is how myself and Rob work. We set a huge intention to ask a specific question with the guides when I'm not sure what's happening. So in this session, what we want to ask the guides is, why are we on Earth in our human form at this moment in time? And, have been in our childhood. What is our mission here? What is it we're intended to do? I'm going to say both as personal and also as part of humanity, and how humanity is working at the moment, and what we're here for. So we're going to really go within ourselves, start listening to our guides. I have some other questions and we'll bring those in, but the biggest question is, why are we here, to the guides right now? So we're going to be silent for a moment.
I had an immediate answer, and that's because you chose to be. So why did I choose to come now? Of all times, why now?
So I'm getting seeing that Earth was in trouble at this time. In your understanding of trouble and chaos, and it's been in chaos and disarray for some time, not just at this moment in time, but for some time. This is absolutely right. You have chosen to come here with great intentions to see the world and to help other people see the world for what it could truly be. There have been a lot of false identities. Is that right, guys? False identities, false beliefs. Identity comes from thinking of, false beliefs, emotions. And I'm just seeing something else, so just bear with me. And, and a lot of fear-based, a lot of fear-based feelings around. And this is because every single one of us, not just us, not just myself and Rob, not just a chosen few, every single human being on this earth chose to come down right now. We saw the chaos, but we also wanted to be part of it. We wanted to see the duality of this, because without observing the duality, you cannot then create the goodness out of it. So you have to see the chaos and you have to allow it to be chaos in order for that chaos to then start dropping away, for the higher consciousness, the higher, I want to say realms is what they're saying, the higher realms to arise.
Let me tell you what I've been shown as well. I'm being very clearly shown the globe from a distance on its axis being slightly taken out of axis, or corrected, in fact. So that action on the planet causes a frequency change because it's changed its polar axis incredibly slightly. And humanity has a frequency catch up to do to go with the new Earth. That, you know, that wonderful phrase, new Earth. So I'm being told that I'm here to help stabilize things. Asking how I stabilize or help stabilize.
Yes.
You getting anything else, Julie?
I'm seeing this, bring about balance, bring
Yeah.
about a natural,
Yeah.
you're getting stabilized and getting very similar. I'm getting a balance.
Same thing.
And because the reason the reason we chose this is also every single thing in the universe has a ripple effect. So what's happening on Earth, of course, has its own ripple effect as a let's say global, as Earth in this respect is rippling to the rest of the universe, the rest of space. And so it's almost as if I wouldn't say I don't want to say Earth is the center of this, but in this respect, it feels like we need to balance Earth, heal Earth, and we'll go into what that means, healing Earth, in order to stop the ripple effect of taking everything else out of balance. Okay. And so what do we mean by balance, or what do we have to do to create this balance with Earth?
I get reconnection.
Mm.
So it's, the Earth shifts a little bit and all vibrations change, and we have to try and get our vibration into line with it. And to do that, we have to reconnect with what the point of it all is. Why are we here?
Mm.
Who are we? What are we for? The whole grand story of humanity. Because we have lost our way quite a lot.
Yes.
And although we try, many people are drawn to the wrong things to try. So chaos ensues, and there's a core of us, an increasing core, I'm glad to say, that are here to try and keep a middle ground and to help other people to cross over into I'm going to say a higher frequency, although that needs explanation. And you and I, Julie, were talking earlier about 3D to 5D.
Mm.
And I think we are in that realm, in that as the polar shifts on its axis and the frequency changes, it has gone to a slightly different dimension. It's just difficult for us scientifically to talk in dimension.
Yes.
But frequencies have changed, and we were vibrating with the old Earth, and we need to vibrate with the new Earth. And there's no fear attached to that. It's just a question of rebalancing and reconnecting back into the Earth.
Yes. So in addition to that, in addition to what Rob said, yes, what I'm getting, or what I'm seeing, is that it does feel, that's what we're seeing, it does feel like it's two different Earths in a different time space. Plot in a different latitude and longitude, if you want to call it that. So the way I absolutely agree with Rob, that it's a kind of off its axis. It's even feels like not only off its axis, but it's shifted, let's call it, in time and space. or in space at least, to where it should be. So it should be like, let's say, let's say, sort of a few thousand miles, sort of in another place, how the guides would be showing me. And so the new Earth would be this one in the correct frequency, in the correct place, in the correct space. And this is me not knowing, not being a scientist, but seeing it like that. And why is it off, and how we get it back is simply through, out of raising our frequency and our thoughts to get it back to, back on axis, back in the right, back to the right level, back to the right balance. So that it tips, so that it's got a, proper north and south.
Yeah, I'm being given some slightly information I wasn't expecting, and that when I chose to come back as a human now at this time of shift, I agreed to act as a kind of satellite. So I am able, and you are able, to connect to higher intelligence and to relay that information. And that's a role choice that we took on, and not a compulsory one, an agreement.
Yes, that feels, discerning that, Rob, that feels absolutely the right thing.
Yeah. And I think that is a role that not everybody takes on lightly, but takes on knowing that there is a difference to be made, and that if by channeling information that is available out there to people who can't necessarily access it, then that's the purpose.
And added to that, it feels like, yeah, those people, we will all have different roles, missions, purposes.
Yeah.
And so added to that, the purpose we have and the roles we have, it's about when we're disseminating this information, people will kind of wake up. Let's say people will start being aware because they'll pick up that information. It might take a while. It might take several attempts from us to get that into them, but when they're ready, they will suddenly hear the information that they haven't, in a way that they haven't heard before, and just pick up that information through, I'm going to say, sort of almost like through the DNA, it'll suddenly wake up inside them. Cool. And to try and explain it in an easier way, where they'll suddenly think, hang on a minute, here's something in the news, it doesn't feel right, or here's so sort of their own soul with their agreement and contract will suddenly show them some synchronicities, and they'll keep seeing that the thing, the information that will slowly start to help to change them, to help them be aware of how they can heal themselves, what might be happening, and how they can kind of move away from the fear and move into, as we would call it, a high consciousness, and move away from the fear. And into a different place, into a more of a, we find it easy to be an observer, maybe because that is our role. But I also find that if you show somebody or talk to somebody else about being an observer, they can soon pick that information up and, immediately do it for themselves, to be more of an observer than simply being, under that control of, you must be in fear of everything, being in that false control.
Yeah, let's just broaden the question a little, because we've been talking, I think, about our own roles quite strongly and how we feel our roles are and how we chose them. What about the great sea of humanity that we're just part of? Why are we all here at this particular time? Because we all chose to come.
Yes.
So if I'm a satellite and somebody else is a receiver of what I'm transmitting, if that was their agreement, fine. But what is the mass agreement? Do you want to ask your guys that? I'll ask as well.
Yeah. What I'm first of all picking up is that it's not as easy. Some people might say, well, why can't, if we're working from, sort of a greater consciousness, higher realms, etc., or however we want to describe it, why can't those just like kind of place, I'm sort of feeling that pull of the question, why can't we just place Earth where it should be? Why can't we just go into, any sort of, anyone observing Earth, just say, let's just place it here and let's just remove the chaos straight away. But what I'm getting here is the only way to heal Earth is to be part of that DNA, I want to say, part of Earth. And the only beings that are actually part of Earth are humans. And the obviously other things, animals and plants that are part of that same, I'm going to say, DNA cluster as well, that's creating the 3D, the matter that's creating matter. So we have to be human, or be matter, to be at, what we would say is at one with Earth. So we are Earth and Earth is us. And so Earth has its own consciousness, but that consciousness is part of me. When I see it as me, is part of Rob, and is part of each and every individual as humanity. So in a way, we see our Earth as our world in a particular frequency, as a particular, according to our own beliefs. So if we believe the Earth is a tragedy, if we believe there's so many things going on that's tragedies in Earth, that's what we will see. If we step away from that and see the Earth, that we just need to help heal it, that's our world, and nothing's right or wrong. But definitely we have to be, well, let's just say, in human form. It's just come to an evolution of human form and a way of expressing our consciousness. The consciousness is more than human, but the consciousness comes into human form. And if only we could all see it and listen and be it, all we need to know is that we are Earth and Earth is us. And in order to heal us, we just need to heal the Earth. And as a human, I want to ask, well, how do we do that?
Yeah. $1 million question there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just see us stripping away the kind of falseness that's got onto the Earth. I don't see when, in this session, I don't see when that happened. It feels like that's not important. I just feel that for everyone, once we get that awareness that we're not living at one with the Earth, we're living with, it's almost like in the middle of us, sort of, our sovereign self is like almost suppressed, is in the middle. It's like those Russian dolls. So the very middle doll, the very middle, where the Russian dolls, where you got, one, and
Yep.
then you open it up and open
Matryoshkas,
it up.
yep.
That's what I called it. But the very middle one is almost like you can't see it in there. That's our sovereign, true self, and that's where we need to be with the Earth. But on layered and layered and layered on top of that is all the conditioning we've had, all the the false, I do want to say false grids, because that's how we can say it. And once again, a false grid, just see it at this moment in time as the belief system, the conditioning, all of those things, the fear that's placed in, the control that's placed on us. And it's all of that that's, in these dolls, that, those are still intact in us, and we have to open up each layer, each doll, not necessarily in turn, because the world isn't linear like that, like we think. Even time isn't linear, it's just a constant. In humans, because of 3D, we've had to have this, kind of time space understanding where we are. Let me see what else. Yeah, apart from still telling me we just have to strip away.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we all have to strip away, or can some of us just strip things away, and then will the false realities start to, the fear-based things, the different, the lower energy beliefs, will they just strip away as more and more of us work on ourselves and work to inform other people about this? How will that happen? Let me just get the answer.
Yeah.
See what I see. Well, let me just check I'm getting this right. I am seeing a kind of almost like a temporary thing that will be, it is almost like two Earths. Let's call it an old Earth
Yeah.
and a new Earth. But of course, there are so many frequencies, let's say, so many options, let's say, between old and new. But it does feel like not in a 3D sense as such, but in one sense, there almost will be a split. It's hard to, you cannot, it's not like a literal, split into one and the other, old and new, because that's, in a way, it's like that now in terms of frequency. It does feel like every single person on the planet needs to have this understanding of being one with the planet in order for it to be fully enveloped into the new Earth. So it feels like there will be so much, and this is not about people jumping on, this is not in this respect, people jumping on a new Earth. It's just part of okay, it's part of what's going on now. It's what I've just said before, okay, that it's part of, I could talk to a friend and all they will see is bad things. And I've talked to another friend and they will be stepping away and seeing the world as so much different and the potential of it, if only we were, doing more healing. And what it does, it puts you in different, almost like bubbles, puts you in different universes, let's say, in different worlds, when we talk about living in a different world. And so, although there's not strictly two of them, this is what's happening now, is that we are living, it's not a different dimension, but it's different realities. It is different realities, based on where we're at now, our awareness, our beliefs, our frequency, in that if we're more attached to some of the false belief systems, is just a slightly different reality. And so we need, in order to really truly embody the truth in us and the truth in the earth, embody the new earth, every single human that's living on the earth has to embody that as well. I'm also getting, there will be contracts where humans, don't know how to say this, kind of a contract where some humans will agree to, let's say, come off Earth. So I want to say we'll die, but we'll be helping then to heal the Earth in a different way. They'll be going through a cleansing themselves and helping to heal. So it depends on, that's their mission and contract. So they may be on Earth still living in a sort of in a life of fear, maybe fear-based beliefs. But once they disembark Earth, is what I want to say, and go into the sort of realms of what it means to be just in soul and without a human vessel, they are very much, because they've been part of Earth and their DNA is still part of it, it's their mission to help Earth from their point of view as well. That's what I'm seeing with that.
Yeah, I can agree with all of that. I'm not sure how you sum it up because it's a lot to take on and to process. I'm just seeing a rise in frequency networking around the world so quickly, more quickly than we can imagine.
Yeah.
And that millions upon millions of people do subscribe to the frequency, do rise to it, but some stubbornly refuse not to, and they fall away. So those are your people who, when their time comes, learn the lesson elsewhere.
Yes.
But that
Yes.
when they leave, there are enough people, and particularly young people today are so much more receptive than our generations were.
They are,
A
definitely.
massive change and an increase in speed with which this is all happening. So I'd regard myself as almost a forerunner in this, just paving
Yeah.
the way for this massive, dynamic new generations we have today.
Oh, definitely.
So it leaves me feeling hugely optimistic that as we shift, everything comes out for the best, even though at times it might look really bleak. And the people who persist in the bleak view are the people who learn it somewhere else, learn truth somewhere else.
Yes,
And
definitely.
that's
Yes,
absolutely fine. Yeah, there's no condemnation in that at all. That is simply their agreement when they came,
it is.
and we have to respect it.
Yeah, we have to just observe it and understand it.
Yeah,
Definitely, I'm getting, yet it's not, as a human being, that we do need to be human and alive on Earth. But there are some, as a soul, we're not going to leave any souls in the realm of fear.
no,
I wonder if that makes sense. So all the souls that have been human will also kind of go along with this new earth. So whether you're alive or whether you're as being a soul, I want to say it quite with compassion here, but knowing that it is just our soul's contract of which one we choose to be at that time.
yeah,
We're not leaving any soul. And so the guides want to, add this. This might be for another session, really, but there are some of us as well, and I know I'm included in this. Our mission is to help those souls who do feel a bit lost, who have passed over and feel lost and don't know how to, haven't quite understood themselves, how to do some healing, and we're helping those as well. It's very much like, a lot of us are here to help our ancestors, so that we don't have to keep coming back doing the same thing over. So when we heal our ancestors, we're all helping each other to move, to this new earth. And I just want to say, it feels like it's in a different place in time, but all it means is it's a different frequency. And the earth that
exactly.
we want, the earth that we're looking for, the one that that is in peace, harmony, balance, and then creates a lot of, let's say, happiness and fulfillment for us. Not to say that we couldn't do that now. We can do that right now. And you were quite right, Rob. The other side of this is pointing out the things are shifting. The earth is moving into that higher frequency. And when I say place and time, it is more how frequency works is a spiral. It's not just like from one place, like moving, like somebody shifting at the earth from one place to another. It's a degree of frequency that will move it along. Let me see. And yeah, absolutely right. I do absolutely agree with you, and I've seen it before. That so let's say newborns and those a lot younger than us are definitely, because of the work that some of us have done, their agreements are to be aware at a very to a lot earlier stage. I've also had, sort of observations even from a 3D perspective. There's a lot of parents of these children now that are already aware, so they're allowing that child to express their higher consciousness, to express themselves in the things they know. So what's the joy, what's lovely is it feels already that we're coming away from the conditioning where you would only, you only listen and respect the elders because they know right. And it might only be that those elders would have known right in 3D and had those conditions as well. But what's lovely is it feels like we're stepping away from that. And people are actually listening and talking to children about what the children are seeing and no longer suppressing. Let's say they're spiritual, we'll say their spiritual and psychic capabilities, are allowed, they're allowing that to be expanded, which will ultimately help the earth shift to the new frequencies. I want to say, because it's not just one, it's not just one thing, one from one to another, but will shift into whatever highest frequency, and it could go higher and higher. There's no limit to how high that frequency could go, apart from a high limit in, let's say, in 3D. It feels that for a long time it will be a joy to work, and to be on Earth in the 3-dimensional. It feels like the guides are quite jealous that we can enjoy and see the 3D world. We can actually stroll across a beach or be in a wood, and enjoy. That's part of our fulfillment. And move away from the chaos, which has to happen. We have to live in that duality, but we are that the more chaotic it is, we have to be so glad of that, because the more chaotic it is, sounds like it's going to drop away. It's just going to drop away to bring in, there has to be that law of chaos or whatever they want to call it, in order to then bring the new life, the new frequencies in. So that it will just drop away. The more of us that have this understanding and are living in this world, I want to say where we're above, and observing what's going on without being in any fear whatsoever. Be very discerning about the fear.
And this shift and frequency change is unavoidable. It's happening right now. It will continue to happen. And it's the younger generations particularly that are benefiting right now. Certain wiser older generations as well are benefiting. But as we move into a new reality for humanity, it's the new generations that will really carry it forward.
Yes, yeah.
But definitely. There is no way, you cannot be left behind in it.
No,
people coming to Earth now are already on their way.
No limitations to what they can do and what they can tell us. Definitely what they can tell us.
I think we should probably let our guides go.
Yes, it's been enough.
Bring ourselves back down.
Yes, definitely.
Right. And as always, with gratitude.
Yes, thank you so much, guides. Thank you. Thank you for explaining things. What a wonderful way, when we don't understand something on Earth, what a wonderful way to be able to just ask the guides and then think, it's just this, and to be able to see the Earth in a different point of view. It's so good to be in these sessions, isn't it, Rob?
It's amazing. And when you sit back after one and you then it's like listening to social media again, is pick out the nuggets that work for you right now. Because they give you this vast amount of information.
They do.
And you have to go, okay, I can manage this much right now. Thanks. I'll come back for the rest another time. Give me this bit.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. The guides are just laughing because the guides, they're saying, we're only giving you, little, drip feeding you. And it's still a lot for a human to
We're
to
poor
comprehend.
little 3D people here. Give us a break.
we have our little limits in our physical vessel. Exactly. And our physical, our emotional and, our mind.
Not for long, I just heard. Not for long.
Oh, how exciting. How exciting. Yeah. Well, that was a wonderful session, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that. They
Yeah.
really are, aren't
You
they?
just
Yeah,
open yourself,
amazing.
you just get the most astonishing information.
You do, you
Yes.
do. And what's great is as well, sometimes you don't get this on your own. I know sometimes, I've been with other people and you're getting, something so much different because,
Yeah.
we're sharing all the information from each other as,
Yeah, we've got different
as
sets of
that's
guides
passed.
working for
We
us.
have, we
Yes.
have. Yeah. Yeah. So that's been wonderful. Thank you, Rob.
Great. Not
And
at all. Thank you for that.
yes, and I hope this has been useful to the listeners out there and anybody watching
Yeah.
this. We will just, we just want to be absolutely open with what we're doing. This is just, again, our truth and what we get from our guides. Be
Yeah.
discerning. Okay, bye for now.
Bye bye.